Thanks, Gianni. I'm Jeff Beals. I'm a teacher in our community where I actually have to be involved in these active shooter drills. I'm a former U.S. diplomat. I'm also a candidate for Congress, but I'm so happy to be speaking today, not as a leader, but as somebody being led by these young people who are standing up here, standing up in Washington, who walked out on classes at my school and stood up for sense and sanity in our country. They are standing up to this epidemic of gun violence in our schools. And I want to use this moment to speak about the other places that we have to stand up to gun violence. We have to stand up to gun violence in our streets, where people of color are the victims of gun violence and where we badly need an end to racism and criminal justice reform. We need to speak up and stand up to gun violence when it takes place in our homes, where indeed women are disproportionately the victims of gun violence because of domestic abuse. We have to stand up for it there too. We have to stand up to gun violence in our military industry, which at this moment is draining our budget in the manufacture of more weapons of war at a time when we should be putting that money towards peace and towards diplomacy, as I practiced as a diplomat. And we have to stand up to gun violence in the terrain of our rigged economy, where one of the real culprits here are gun manufacturers who stand against us right now because they want to sell more guns. That is simply at the root of so much of this, because they want to make sure people will keep buying the product and that people will be customers and consumers. But we're more than that. We're citizens, and we're showing it today. We're showing it here. We're showing it at a march in Washington where my mom is today. We're showing it where my students are in marches everywhere, that we are citizens, we have a voice, and that voice is an end to this senseless epidemic and a stand for peace and domestic tranquility, which is what our Constitution called for and what any candidate for Congress has to make sure exists in this country. So thank you.